Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am the host of the Packernet Podcast, the number one podcast supporting the 2-0 undefeated Green Bay Packers. The only 2-0 team in the NFL, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. Pretty crazy. Well, I am, I don't know about you guys. I never know. I never really know. I stayed off social media. I couple little quips that I thought of. I quick, jump online, send it out. Okay, put it away. And then I just put it away by, mid first quarter. So I never know. But let me start by addressing what possibly some of the more negative or anxious fans may be saying or feeling. There is indisputably some stuff to clean up. Now, we didn't really see it in week one, so it's not exactly an epidemic. But, this game had some sloppy moments. I think it appeared even more sloppy because of how inopportune these things were, like when they happened. First downs negated. We had a fourth down stop negated. Very critical things that are massive swings from, holy crap, we just won this game, to, good Lord, they're going to score a touchdown now. Now, let me immediately pivot to the most positive part about that. This was a classic, and again, all teams have this, but a classic Green Bay Packers slop game. Penalties everywhere. Couldn't block, which I'm not going to hammer on too much. We obviously had a hard time with 2 guys down, and I swear they blitzed 8 guys every single time. But the run blocking didn't really exist. The pass blocking really struggled. Jordan was under pressure a lot in this game. Penalties like crazy. Field position was terrible. Felt like we were starting at the 5-yard line every single time. They started in Packers territory half the time. Between good returns, missed field goals, and penalties, field position sucked. And even with that, even looking at this going, boys, what are we doing? What is with the penalties? What is with special teams? What is with the missed field goal? Like this just felt like this was a classic collapse game. And yet at the exact same time, this was never close. It was never close. We embarrassed Washington. We embarrassed Detroit. And even more so, we embarrassed Washington. This was more embarrassing, I think, than what we saw against Detroit. For a team to come out, and I swear, I thought Matt LaFleur was going to die. Every time the camera was on him, he is screaming, his face is bloody red. And I don't know if you saw this, but I swear, by the end of the game, he was like hunched over holding his stomach. I think he was having problems with ulcers. He may need to go to the hospital tonight. He was losing his mind with frustration at how we had wrong plays in. We had Kingsley Enagbare run out because he thought we were kicking a field goal when we were going for it on 4th down. Like, it's just like, these are the things that you see in those games where you just go, oh, what is going on today? But I can't remember a game ever. We've won some of those games. It does happen, especially against bad teams. Sometimes you play a bad team and you'll sneak out a win. But it's always a nail biter, and it's frustrating because you have people saying you didn't deserve to win the game, or this isn't good enough, or all that kind of stuff. Maybe some people are saying that today. I don't know. It's a stupid thing to say today, but this was shocking how inept we have made Detroit and Washington look. And again, we can continue playing this game for a long time. The game of, well, Detroit is not good anymore, or at least they're not going to be good for a while because of their coordinators. Maybe that's the case. But Detroit was mega elite last year. I'm talking mega elite. They have one of the premier pass rushers in football. I don't know if he played in that game. They have elite receivers. I don't know where they were. They couldn't do anything, anywhere, ever. Washington. I mean, Jaden Daniels, he runs for like 70 yards a game, right? You got to watch out for that. He runs wild on everybody. He ran for 17 yards, which, by the way, he ran for 17 yards, Eckler ran for 17 yards, and Bill ran for 17 yards. This is a team that, again, well, they played the Giants last week. I know they played a bad team last week. I get that. I understand that. But I'm just asking, is Washington bad too? Because these two teams went, I don't want to say the distance in the playoffs, because it was Washington and Philly, ultimately, that went to the NFC Championship. But these are two of the top 3 NFC teams that we faced. The Lions that have embarrassed us for a very long time, that absolutely peaked last year, and Washington, who curb-stomped that Detroit Lions team. Offenses that score lots and lots of points are not able to get to even 20 points against the Packers. Detroit scored 1 slop touchdown. Washington scored 1 touchdown, again, starting in very, very good territory. And then I don't even remember what happened with the other one, but I'm not even going to bother calling them slop touchdowns. I mean, they earned them. The Packers clearly seem to be playing off more, playing a little softer and whatnot, giving them a little bit more space, giving them the underneath stuff, which they took advantage. And because they're a tempo team, they work well in that. I was even kind of getting worried at one point because I was like, bro, tempo is that's their thing. I don't know if we should be doing this. But they managed, and everything was just fine. 17 yards he ran for. That's it. Remember, we got Micah Parsons. That's going to help our pass rush, but stopping the run, now we're really bad at that because we lost Kenny Clark, and he's like some legendary run stopper, apparently. And nobody told us that when he was here. It's kind of like when people die and you learn how great they were, and you're like, bro, nobody told me all this stuff when they were alive. I didn't even know half of this crap. It's my freaking uncle, and I'm just learning all these things. Like, why didn't you? I never would have been cool to ask him questions about the fact that he was a Marine / legendary police officer / jiu-jitsu freak show before jiu-jitsu was cool. Like, just some of this. I want to save the stats for later. But the stuff that I'm seeing, I mean, again, I understand if people want to be somewhat nitpicky, but I am stunned at how good some of this stuff looks. Yes, a lot of it is on defense, but even the offense is really not looking bad. Again, I think that there were 3 main issues. Number 1 was field position. That sucked. And by the way, they scored 2 touchdowns for more than 90 yards. That's very impressive for an offense to do. Let's not pretend that that's not a thing. Number 2, we were down 2 offensive linemen. That is not a small thing. We were rotating our right tackle because we couldn't decide which one we wanted in there. Every single snap, I swear I saw a different right tackle in there. I go, who is our right tackle today? I don't even know what's happening. So, offensive line, due to injury, was an issue. And penalties were massive. I think we score multiple more times, whether they're field goals or touchdowns, you can't know. But I think there are multiple scores. You could add in accuracy with Jordan. There were probably 2 golden touchdowns that were off the board because of accuracy. I'll cut him some slack. Number 1, because the pressure was out of control. And number 2, almost all the inaccurate passes were very deep passes. And those are not massively high completion throws. Even the best quarterbacks are hit or miss on the deep throws. And he, again, did hit some deep throws. So when you look at the percentages on deep shots, I think the frustration, and I'm trying to be gracious to him as well, because this is where I think I was more than frustrated with him, and maybe I need to tweak my thinking slightly. Again, there are different percentages that you're shooting for beyond 20 yards, and so many of his throws are deep shots. And maybe that's a problem, I don't know, but I think the way Washington played, everybody was loading the box. And so running the ball short to intermediate passes, there's too much traffic. And so Washington seemingly was saying, we're going to blitz you, and we're going to see if you can try to get that shot over our head. And you can see why that's a good strategy. Not only does it rattle the quarterback and whatnot, but it's also a lower percentage throw, even when you're not under pressure, because the dude's farther away. It is difficult. And I think we're going to have to live with that, because the Packers and Jordan love pushing the ball down the field. I don't. I mean, I do, but I get very annoyed at how much that can stall a drive. But I mean, that was going back to Rodgers and McCarthy, where both of them were like, we would lose games because, on 4th and 1, we're throwing 40-yard touchdown bombs. And it's like, bro, do we have to do this? And then they go to the podium and they're like, what we got to do is throw the ball deeper, man. It's all about those explosive plays. Like, I'm going to wrap an explosive play around your freaking throat and squeeze. Shut up about the explosive plays. That was way worse than this situation. I will never get over that. I was doing the podcast, I believe, at the time, and I did a lot of yelling back then. This was, believe it or not, this was a much angrier podcast. But again, I don't want to bury the lead here. The Packers are 2-0 against two of the toughest opponents they're going to face all year, and it was never close. They dominated the living crap out of both of these teams. Even if you want to play the game, well, both of them suddenly suck now. They were still dominant, even if it's the frickin' Browns and the Saints. These are NFL football teams. It's not easy to just walk all over teams in the NFL. I'm really struggling to even find a negative angle. Because again, the most negative angle was there was a lot of slop, and even with that, how are you sloppy and just spank a team for 4 quarters to the point where it's not even close? I mean, it's such a discouraging thing for a team like the Commanders or the Lions to be as proud as you are, to genuinely believe we are Super Bowl contenders and we can do this and we can go all the way, and you can't do anything against them. And you're just thinking, like, do we suck? Like, I don't know what's happening right now. Like, we can't complete passes. We can't catch passes. We can't get open. We can't block. We can't do anything, dude. Do we suck? I think we suck. I'm not kidding you. I've seen people in Detroit with podcasts or whatever, with titles and headers or whatever, saying, like, we might be in trouble, or we need to have a conversation. In other words, it was such a bad beating that they're not sitting there going, well, if the refs would have done this, or you know, well, they got lucky, or the whatever. They're not even doing that. They're simply saying, boys, we might suck, because they watched their team essentially be inept for 4 quarters. And so Lions fans have to self-reflect and go, maybe we do suck now. Maybe this loss of coordinator really screwed us. Like, we might be in the dumpster. Now, of course, again, as a Packer fan, I would love to encourage them and say, oh, don't worry. Don't worry. You're really good. You just look bad against us. That's all. But I'm not going to do that. I'm fine with them wallowing in misery and wondering, is it over? Do we suck again? Are we back to putting bags on our heads like Bears fans do? Which, by the way, they stole that from us. Lions fans should be furious about that. It's going to be Lions-Bears, by the way. I think there should be fights over that. If a Bears fan puts a bag over his head, it's like, hey, knock it off. We do that. You don't do that. Give me that bag for later in the year when we start using them. Oh, like, if you're feeling upset, don't, okay? There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that there's stuff to clean up. Fine. So they can clean it up. You think Washington's going, we got nothing to clean up today, boys? You think the Lions have not done a lot of self-reflecting? Or the Bears? Or even the Vikings? Good Lord, that was ugly. Everybody's got to do some self-reflecting. And, like, you know, we can't be getting... And by the way, some of those penalties... if you're the head coach, I'm having a hard time even being mad. That critical, what was it, the third down or something that we got a first... Josh Jacobs, I think, ran for a first down. They called it back for a penalty, and it was on one of the tight ends. And I'm looking at that, and I'm going, what? I'm not going to sit here and, like, blame the refs or anything. That's not the point. It's just, again, even if you're upset about the cleaning things up, like, clean up what, dude? There's a couple a little bit more blatant calls, which, you know, even the more blatant calls are one of those things that happen all the time and don't get called. But okay, fine, you got caught and they just felt bored and they're like, I guess I'm throwing it. Washington got one of those too. It was freaking brutal. Like, I saw literally nothing, and the ref was just like, I haven't thrown my flag today. This is bullcrap. So I'm not saying it to complain about the ref screwed us. I mean, they suck, and they always do suck. And if we had lost, I'd probably be much more upset about it. But again, just from the standpoint of, in terms of what they need to clean up, there's some phantom calls in there, man. That holding call against, I think it was Belton, they literally don't call that anymore. You look at Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons and everybody, They have that happen every single play. There's literally a thing in the playbook where because like defensive tackles come in and kind of rip that arm up, it causes the arm to go up by the neck. And so those little chokehold things are essentially allowed as long as you don't like get behind them and actually choke them and rip them down. I mean, they're pretty lenient on how long they let them do that. And that was like textbook. That is a thing I see all the time. Rashawn Gary, 90% of the time he's rushing the passer, he's in a chokehold. But they just decided this freaking rookie, who's, by the way, had a bunch of penalty issues, needs to get chewed out by Matt LaFleur. Poor guy. I mean, it's nonsense. So, clean things up in terms of if you get some temperamental refs that are just being freaking D-bags about stuff, then yeah, you got to watch for this, that, or the other. But otherwise, you guys freaking killed it, man. Tucker gets a penalty, and what does he do? He comes back with a freaking 40-yard reception or some nonsense. Tucker Kraft, too. Holy cow. That's the other thing. Like, he's like, oh, I don't know about the offense. It's like, but I'm excited about them, too. Tucker. How about Savion Williams? Can we get a round of applause for Savion, who I wasn't even sure if he was really going to be playing much this year? Matt LaFleur, which, of course, loves guys like that. It's like, yeah, Savion's my dude. He's going in. He's my guy. Let's take a break. I want to go through the roster. I just want to go through it real quick. We got a lot. I want to go through the stats. I want to go through all the fun stats because I'm just barely skimming, and it's like, well, here's a crazy... Every stat is blowing my mind with how much we freaking dominated this high-quality playoff-caliber team. Oh, this is... I mean, again... there's always going to be stuff to work on, but if you can't enjoy this, you're never going to be happy. This is as good of a football team as I've seen. Just period. At the end of that sentence. Freaking guys are sleepwalking out there and just dominating. Like, what? Oh, all right. Let's take a break. We'll come back. I have to go through the roster, and let's just do, I don't know if you want to call it awards or what, but just applauding. We're doing game balls, and we have a lot of game balls to give out. All right, that's more of an end of a episode thing, but I need to go through and remember some of these guys. I just saw another one. I just pulled up our depth chart, and I saw another one that I got freaking chills. This team, man, I'm telling you. Take a break. We'll be right back. All right, so let's start with the offense, because the offense, again, if any side didn't pull their weight as much, 27 points, by the way, is more than adequate in the NFL, which, again, like, sloppy game is a 27-18 win against a top team. Come on. As I always say, and because there's no feedback, I have no idea if this is actually a helpful tool, but to all the people that are maybe a little anxious about some things that they saw. If I told you, bro, Packers win this game, that's probably enough for you to just be jacked. Because, how much anxiety, like, what if? I don't know what's going to happen. It's a good team. If I told you not only did we win, but it was 27-18, you would freak out. But then I come in and I'm like, hold on, though, but there were penalties. Dun, dun, dun. Never mind. This sucks. Were there a bunch of drops, too? Like, no. Oh, just penalties? Yeah. But we won 27-18? Yeah. Was it close at some point and like a bunch of fluky stuff? No, it was never really close. But there were penalties. Come on, guys. All right. Let's start with the offense. The weaker of the two. Game ball. Round of applause. Romeo Doubs. You can call it a golf clap if you want. I'm impressed with Romeo through 2 weeks. I think he's looking... First of all, he's given me like... I know these are more slot guys, but Donald Driver, Randall Cobb, just in terms of... I don't know if it was like for both of them, it was later in their careers, but remember when they started getting violent? They started hitting people harder and getting a little bit more like amped up. That dude is fired up. Like, he just looks like he wants to just dominate people. He runs violently. He catches violently. He's got really good routes. The speed is evident. It might not be, elite NFL track speed, but I mean, he's if he's got space, he's going. He's producing touchdowns. I mean, he is a reliable piece through 2 weeks, no doubt about it. This offense is very different without him. Jaden was on that same tier. Injury obviously happened. I don't know the update. It looked like a broken collarbone. I haven't heard the status on that. Again, he looked phenomenal in week 1. He started again looking really, really good and then ended up getting injured. But he will get an applause as well for the way that he has carried himself through this point, and hopefully we'll see him again, I don't know, soonish, let's say. Golden, I'm not going to give a game ball. I wish I could. He had 2 end-arounds that did get yards, so kudos on that. Again, I think he had one easy touchdown. I mean, it was just underthrown by a lot. The other one was overthrown. I don't know if he reaches the end zone, but he had at least a half a step and certainly could have caught it. We got robbed of a big Matthew Golden day. But, 2 end-arounds does not get you a game ball. But it's still there. I think Matt LaFleur is really, I don't know if, I can't tell if Matt LaFleur is struggling to figure out how to use all these guys or if he's just excited. Because the shifting of personnel packages almost makes me laugh. Bro, you watch this team play and it's Romeo, Jaden, and Wicks. And then you blink and it's Golden, Savion, Heath. And then you blink again and it's Pony Package with Kraft and Jacobs and Brooks. And I think Matt's just having the time of his life. And that may stunt Matthew Golden a little bit, and I do think that it's probably still one of those we need to get you up to speed. The talent is beyond evident. For anybody that's worried about, he's another bust, he's not as good as people thought, it's not about good. It's a simple matter of, I know Doubs knows the offense, and so I trust him when I put him out there a little bit more. Knowing the offense, the nuances of what to do, when, where, how, Golden probably not fully up to speed on that. So he's not going to be an every down, which, by the way, nobody is an every down guy. But they just haven't been able to hit it yet, man. But it's there. It is 1,000% there. And I'm willing to be, as long as we're going to keep kicking the crap out of teams like this, I am more than willing to be patient for the Jordan Love and Matthew Golden combo to fully kick off. Might have been way off on my 1,000-yard prediction at this point. It doesn't look like we're headed in the right direction for that to be a thing unless it picks up by week 3. But I'm fine with that. If he can start producing like a 1,000-yard receiver by mid-season, beyond happy. Especially with Christian back, and jeez. Savion Williams, love that dude. I was super excited to see him out there. If you recall, after we drafted him, I was not super familiar with him. By the way, my son, who had Matthew Golden as his number 1 receiver, had Savion Williams as his number 3 receiver in the draft. Number 3. There were more than like 3 first-round picks. He's like, no, Savion's number 3. He also reminded me, he had Bullard as his number 1 DB, I think. He kept getting so jacked up about Bullard every time. And I knew he liked Bullard, I just didn't know why, and then he reminded me today. It was my top dude. I was like, oh, okay. That guy's connection with the Packers is wild. Everybody I like, the Bears draft. So I suck at this, obviously, because the Bears are terrible. But anyways, after we drafted him, I watched his tape, and I'm like, this is my freaking guy, man. I mean, I swear he is really fast. That is not one of the things on when you read his report, but he looks so fast. He's so big. He's so smooth. He's not necessarily polished, but holy crap, he is the full package. And I love that they had him out there running routes as a receiver. It wasn't just gadget stuff. That's mostly what we saw out of him, but he was out there actually running routes and stuff, and it was a lot. He was out there a ton. And I am so excited to see that. I am so excited that they've already found packages and ways to use Savion Williams, and he's only going to get better. And then week 2, we're running Wildcat, son. What? And it worked. Beautiful play design, by the way, to have Jordan coming back to the formation so that it looks like he's about to pitch to the quarterback. 2 defenders go after Jordan. Clears the way. And then what do we got? We got Tucker Kraft throwing a guy in his back, and Savion Williams just does the rest. Just happy for Savion. Not only is he a return guy, which that's still a thing that's in flux, obviously. I never know who's going to... Keyshawn kind of took over a lot of stuff, but Savion was doing a decent amount of that. And he worked his way onto the the game day roster, getting tons of snaps, and he's out there making plays. Game ball. How about Wicks? Huh? Anybody? Round of applause? Golf clap at least? I love that we started the game with a bunch of Wicks. And then we kind of stalled out, and how do we get back on track? Let's get back to Wicks. Everybody seems to understand Dontayvion Wicks is a very good receiver. He just has to catch the ball. Dontayvion Wicks had a great game, no drops. Round of applause for Wicks, ladies and gentlemen. Game ball. How about this one? Dude gets a game ball for one play. Malik frickin' Heath. Malik Heath is the consummate one-play game ball guy. You will forget that Malik Heath is even on this team. He comes out, gets some clutch third down reception, and then you just don't see him until next week or 2 weeks from now. The guy's just always clutch. He is, I've said before, he's kind of like that Geronimo Allison. He's better than that, but like Geronimo, and there's been a couple other guys where you kind of just, you don't think too much of them, but boy, when they come out, they make plays at just the right time. It was tight ends, I think. There were a couple tight ends that did that. I forgot who it was. I don't know if it might have been Richard Rodgers, but I don't think so. Doesn't matter. Play of the game, and my son was talking crap to me for like 10 minutes because he caught that ball, and in live time, I was like, bro, it wasn't even close. I didn't think a single foot touched. I thought his whole body just went right out of bounds. I'm looking at that like, dude, shut up. You're getting up talking about I caught it. Like, get out of here. And I'm already frustrated because I think that was third down, and I'm like, hey, freaking. Then they show the replay, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding. How did he get 2 feet down? You watch it back in live time, and it's like, that's actually really impressive because it's one of those things where you can't jump. You jump, you're not going to get your feet down, so you kind of just like let your body kind of just, I don't know. I don't know what the art of that is, but he nailed that. Absolutely nailed that catch. Malik Heath, our number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 behind Christian, wide receiver. He might not be that far down, but legitimately could be. If he's behind Savion Williams, and if we just call it Christian, then he would be 7. He is the best 7th receiver in the history of football. I'm tempted to give him 2 game balls just for that catch. And it was big, too. I mean, it was a clutch situation. It's one of those, I mean, I can't say Washington wins, obviously, if that doesn't happen, but that's a big momentum shifter there. The difference between catching that and not and having to punt from deep, I can't fully remember, but I think that was during one of those long drives from beyond 90 to go score a touchdown. 1 game ball, but still. I'm trying to save these for later, but I just saw a tweet from Pat McAfee. What the hell is going on with the Commanders' offense? This is, again, this is that thinking. Oh, they look really bad. Oh, there's the update. Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed broke his collarbone per Matt LaFleur. He must be doing his press conference now. That sucks. I kind of thought that was the case. Domofsky says broke his collarbone and will miss significant time, but he thinks he can get back this season. Well, we're looking at a deep playoff push here, boys, so hope to see him back. Already seeing calls for Mecole Hardman. Stashing him on the practice squad may have been a wise decision. We'll see if he gets the call up. The other option, I guess, would be Will Shepard. There's also Isaiah Nayer, but definitely think Mecole is the obvious choice here. All right. Sucks for Jaden. Back to game balls. Can't really do it for the offensive line. I'm tempted to give a shout-out to Kennard and Belton for at least stepping up and filling in Jordan Morgan, but given the performance of the offensive line, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I'm going to give a game ball to Jordan. You could, just because he's the quarterback, you know. He obviously has got to make plays if you're going to win the game, but I think my biggest issues now are the number of missed passes. Again, they're really deep passes, so it's tough, but I mean these are big passes that would be great to have, and we're missing them a little too often. The other big thing that's bothersome, and again, some of these I don't know what you could really do, but it feels like any time there's pressure, the play is over. It's just dead. Nothing good is going to come from that. That's got to get fixed. Matt LaFleur and Jordan have got to spend some time together, maybe work on it with the wide receivers, get some hot routes developed or something, because I feel like anytime there's pressure, it's just, it's over. It's just completely over. Big, massive, giant game ball goes to Tucker Kraft. That dude's a freak. Tons of yards, all kinds of good stuff. Physical blocker, throwing defenders off of him when they're trying to make tackles. He's a monster. In fact, I'll do you one better than a game ball. You get your game ball, but I'll do you one better. You might recall I had made some comments about Tucker. Something to the effect of, Tucker's good, but I think we overhype him a little bit because he's a Packer. He's not like one of those top tight end guys. I'm not going to change my mind, but I am going to absolutely pause that. Or I should say at least retract that statement, and we'll see how she goes. Because the way things are looking right now, Tucker is the top tight end in football right now. Especially with Kittle out and Kelsey's cooked, I think. What's even the competition? We don't have like those truly massively elite blue chip psycho. Well, maybe we do. We got a couple young guys out there. But he's, again, after 2 weeks, dude's in the conversation. That's no question. I love Jacobs, but even if it's not his fault because of the offensive line, I can't, in good conscience, give you a game ball. Musgrave did catch passes, but that's, it's not good enough. Fitzpatrick got that garbage penalty. I think we're done with the offense. I think that's about it. Then we get to the good stuff. And boy, oh boy, it's kind of just everybody. We should save the best for last, but we'll just go in order here. Rashawn Gary's a monster. He got himself another sack. I think Edgerrin Cooper snuck in there to make it a half a sack, which brings him to 2, when in reality he's basically got 3 now. Again, I hate half sacks. I think that's ridiculous. It's not a half sack. You have 2 people with 1 sack. Again, the only reason they do that is for the accounting by the NFL. Well, if they both got sacks, then that means that was 2 sacks on that. No, it was 1 sack by 2 players. But if you, list it out, it looks like it's more. I think that's stupid. Doesn't really matter, though. Rashawn is out there just making plays. He's still a solid run defender off the edge, but he's also disruptive. I think my favorite part about this defense is I don't know where to look anymore. I used to just stare at Rashawn Gary and go, please do something. You're the only guy that's kind of good at this. Please do something. Please do something. And of course, he usually doesn't. Like any pass rusher, you usually don't get home. But he was the only guy. I don't know where to look anymore. There are so many guys. I'm obviously looking for number 1 whenever I'm looking. But most of the time, that's the wrong. I'm looking at number 1 and he gets double teamed. I'm like, oh crap, that's the wrong guy. And then all of a sudden, some flash comes across the screen. Quarterback gets thrown on his back. And I'm like, who was that? Who just did that? Game ball Rashawn. One of the funnier moments of the night, the announcers start talking about, it's one of those things they must have had, they have their sit down before the game to coaches tell them all the stuff or whatever. Because there's a little bit of a deep dive. So as I believe we've learned, Wooden is kind of our one-tech, bigger run defender guy. Carl Brooks is like a Devontae Wyatt light. He's a better pass rusher type of guy. Well, they had talked about, look out for this guy, but also Brooks is like the shifty inside defender. And I thought, well, that's a nice little Brooks nod. He's not really up there with Wyatt necessarily, but yeah, it's cool that they did a little shout out to Brooks. Brooks gets a sack on that play. Game ball. Also, and I'll be honest, I didn't even know about this person and the fact that they also recorded a half a sack. I'm peeking at the stats real quick just to make sure I kind of get this right. I don't know who he shared a sack. It would have to be with Brooks, I guess. There's always so many bodies. It's hard. But I didn't even... This guy must not have played a ton of snaps because there's so many guys, so many bodies, so many good players. For example, I'm sure Stackhouse was out there, but I can't imagine it was a ton. However, 4th round pick Baron Sorrell snuck in there at some point, number 99, and shared a sack. Again, that would have to be with Carl Brooks. The other 2 half sacks were Edgerrin and Micah, and I know those 2 were in on the same one together. So the other 2 half sacks are Brooks and Sorrell. So wait, Rashawn was a full sack? Okay, never mind. So he didn't have to share that one. Good. I can't believe the number of sacks that are on here. And again, because I don't believe in half sacks, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. No, they didn't sack the quarterback 6 times. I'm not saying that. But there were 6 people that got sacks on the day. Not half sacks, all the way sacked the quarterback. Insanity. Baron Sorrell, game ball. Didn't even know you were out there. Forgot you existed for a minute. I apologize. There's a lot going on in my life right now, okay? We traded for Micah Parsons. What do you want me to do? I'm supposed to remember the draft class all of a sudden? Please. You're a good dude, but please. Again, I'm going to have to check the snaps on that because that's wild. Baron Sorrell, with all these other guys out there, sneaks in for a sack. And that's the thing. You got Brooks out there. You got Sorrell out there. That was obviously one of those, let's give the starters a break. Send out some of the depth guys because, you got to do that once in a while. Every once in a while you look and you're like, oh, these are all the bottom of the barrel guys that they're putting out there for a play to give everybody kind of a breather. This sucks. No offense, but this is not my favorite. This is not my favorite moment. And you get a sack from Sorrell and Carl Brooks. Just ridiculous. Moving on. Who do I pick? There's 2 left on the D line. I'm gonna go Micah first. I'm doing it because the other guy has got me beyond fired up. Micah Parsons had another big day. We'll get to, again, some of the stats. Doesn't look huge on the stat sheet here. It's 2 tackles, 0.5 sacks, and that's it. Except that's not it. But we'll get into the more in-depth stuff in a minute. He wrecked the game again, and once again, and PFF give him like a 40 grade or something stupid. Who knows and who cares? I think as disruptive as he was personally, and he was disruptive plenty, again, the amount of help he provides to everybody else, getting all the one-on-ones. We even saw, I think at least once, maybe even a couple times, again, guys seeming, if they weren't unblocked, they were barely blocked. And it is just constant chaos in the backfield. I mean, I honestly get frustrated when it's not. And I'm like, guys, what are we doing? Why is there no pressure? And I have to remind myself that that's normal, right? Like, never in the history of the world has there just been pressure on every single play, but I've already become so conditioned and spoiled by this new defensive line that I just expect pressure. If the quarterback's there for 3 seconds and there's no pressure, which, by the way, by 4, there will be, but if he has 3 seconds and there's no pressure, I'm like, dude, do you guys suck or what? Like, what is it, frickin' JV squad? You think you're getting paid on this team? Get out of here. Micah, you loser. Rashawn, like, what are we, Van Ness? Oh, yeah, big off season. It's been 3 seconds, dude, and he's not sacked yet? I hate you. I hate all of you. It's crazy to just have to remind myself, like, dude, this is normal. Go watch an NFL game. When there's pressure on the quarterback, it's like a rare, like, ooh, we got home, attaboy. That's not the Packers. It's like the reverse. The norm is pressure. The only reason there aren't sacks on like every play is because that ball is just out. Or he's scrambling. And even then, there was nowhere to go. I don't understand this defense. We've seen this before. Every time there's pressure and the quarterback steps up and all the pass rushers are behind him, you know what that means. A guy like Jaden's going to run for 40. I mean, am I the only guy that watched a Dom Capers defense? That's what happens. If the pass rushers miss, there's maybe a linebacker. He's got to make one linebacker miss, which will happen 100% of the time, and he's off to the races. Guys, there was always somebody there. There's not only linebackers, there's safeties. Like McKinney's just standing there like, where are you going, stupid? Bullard, Cooper. And Cooper, he slipped on the field a couple times. I don't know what he's doing, but that dude doesn't miss tackles. He comes up and just tackles him like it's no big deal. Why aren't you missing tackles? You're not supposed to tackle quarterbacks. These guys just slip past you and make you look stupid. And why are you all standing around out here? Who's covering people down the field? How could he find nobody to throw to? But yet when he steps up, there's like safety just standing there like, where do you think you're going, dude? I don't understand. I don't know how this works. But Jeff Hafley is making me realize that everybody else just sucks at this. It's just like, bro, just make them do all the stuff. Like, always get the quarterback and also always cover, but also when guys escape the pocket, you should have people there waiting. Just do all of it. Like, I don't know why you guys are making this so complicated. Just don't be so stupid. Just freaking do it, all right? Micah Parsons, game wrecker. He is as impactful as a pass rusher as he is in terms of just creating that for everybody else. But my frickin' guy, man, and you guys know I've been a fan of his, so I'm a little biased, but my guy Devontae Wyatt is looking like a freak. That guy is everything that I laid up at night daydreaming about. Just thinking like, why can't you just be like, why can't you just reach your potential, man? You're so big and you're so fast. He caught Jaden Daniels, dude. I'm going to tell the story because I've told it 1,000 times and it just blows my mind. This is the guy that at the combine, they told him to go work out with the linebackers because he's too freaking fast. He is a big, fast, pass-rushing freak. I couldn't tell you if he made a single tackle on a running back or anything. I couldn't care less. He is a pass-rushing phenom, and he's looking like it. It looks easy out there. He is wreaking havoc 24/7 and batting down passes for fun in his free time. 2 game balls. 2 for my boy Devontae Wyatt. Player of the game, don't care, shut up. That guy has been a monster. Also registered a sack. So in total, Wyatt, sack. Rashawn, sack. Edgerrin Cooper, sack. We'll get there. Micah Parsons, sack. Carl Brooks, sack. Baron Sorrell, sack. On Jaden Daniels, man, that guy's not easy to bring down. And it's always, it's been 2 weeks, but it's not. It's the other beautiful thing about this, and we knew that this was a thing in terms of, it might help some other people. But this is not like Micah Parsons with 2 sacks, everyone else was 0. Like, everyone sucks, but at least Micah can do something. But he's the only guy getting pressure. He's the only one that can do anything. We're still... Everybody is just a freak. Everybody's just really good at football now. Let's take a break. We'll finish these game balls. This is... I'm so excited I'm just getting kind of carried away, so we may have to just look at maybe some stats and stuff tomorrow. But just talking about it, I'm getting more and more excited. I mean, again, enjoy it. I can't tell you what next week is going to look like. I can't tell you what the injury situation is going to look like. At any point, this could all come crashing down. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. But as of right now, we are witnessing an incredibly talented and scary football team. Scary. Take a break. We'll be right back. Alrighty, linebackers. Quay, you're a good person. And you've done some good things, no question. And I might have even given you a game ball if you just didn't miss that wide open tackle that made you look stupid. Them's the rules, man. You made some good plays out there. You did some good stuff. I saw you getting after the quarterback. I saw you making tackles. 8 tackles on the day, by the way. He had a big day. No game ball, though. That was embarrassing. Edgerrin, game ball. All day. He slipped. The field looked kind of slippery. So everybody's slipping all over the place. That slip was a little weird, but he's still flying all over. He's making plays in the backfield. He's tackling people. He's tackling the quarterback and preventing these big, long Jaden Daniels rushes. He ends up getting a sack. He does it all. He led the team in tackles, led the team in solo tackles, had a sack. I mean, he just forever game ball. Then we get to corner, and I kind of want to just give all of them game balls just because, again, I just never see that. We saw one guy, and we'll get to him in a minute. But as far as, like, I didn't find out until, like, the third quarter Nate Hobbs was playing football. Like, it just didn't click. Like, I saw the people that were out, and Nate Hobbs wasn't on the list, but it just didn't dawn on me that he wasn't there, and he's going to play today. I saw Nate Hobbs, it might have even been on a penalty, but I saw Nate Hobbs for the first time, and I'm like, bro, Nate Hobbs is playing. These guys never get thrown at. I'm iffy on Nate Hobbs. I do think he had a penalty. I think it might have been one of those stupid ticky-tack ones where there's, like, really not much there, and he shut everybody else down the rest of the game. I don't know. Valentine. Don't know the snap counts. Don't exactly know how this all worked with Nate Hobbs and Keyshawn and Bullard. But I do know Valentine was out there. I saw him a couple times. I'm just giving him game ball, man. The fact that I'm not even sure how much you played or if you played or what the situation is, game ball. Just, I mean, if you're a corner, I don't ever want to see you. And if I don't see you, you get a game ball. Javon Bullard. Big time game ball, and I'm writing on it, I'm sorry. Personal note to you, I'm sorry from Pack Daddy. I don't care if PFF still hates you. I am beyond excited about Javon Bullard. He is playing with his hair on fire. The only time I ever see Bullard, it's not like I feel like things were maybe a little bit in the past where if you saw things you weren't super happy with them. I see Bullard coming up and just making big plays. Coming up and he smokes Jaden, which was the funniest play. I think this is the second time I've said that, but it was the funniest play of the day. Jaden Daniels running for his life and kept looking backwards because he knew Micah Parsons was chasing him, and he knows how fast that freaking guy is. He's looking backwards, and then he peeks forward, and who is it? Javon Bullard coming downhill to take him out, takes his legs out, and freaking makes the quarterback do a flip. I mean, they're just assaulting people out here, and Bullard is a part of that. And that was the good thing about drafting him, and we were all excited. He's a second-round pick. He is a physical beast of a human being, and I hope that he can continue doing this because he is a fun guy to watch. He is what this defense is. He fits. It's a fast, physical defense, and that's Bullard. You know, he doesn't have 4.32 speed or anything, but he can fly around and smoke people. And I feel like with this defense doing what it's doing, it simplifies things for everybody. Year 2 for Bullard in the NFL, year 2 in the scheme. Can't guarantee he's having some kind of a big breakout. And again, he probably is going to have a 20 PFF grade because PFF hates him for some reason. But I thought he was fantastic. Game ball, I'm sorry. Then we got Keyshawn Nixon. Boy, oh boy, Keyshawn. I don't think I've ever seen this before, by the way. Ever. 2 game balls, player of the game. Yes, he's sharing that honor with Wyatt. I don't care. Obviously, player of the game. Be stupid not to say so. What the heck was happening in this game? They kept throwing to Keyshawn over and over. Like he was the only corner on this team. He was somehow in 3 places at once because I don't think there was another corner. He covered everybody on the field. And I think he broke up like every pass. I don't think I've ever seen a guy in one game get 5 pass deflections, and that's what PFF is giving him right now. Devontae Wyatt has 2 as a defensive tackle. Xavier McKinney has 1. Nobody else has a pass deflection except Keyshawn, who has 5. 5 pass deflections in a game is some beast mode stuff, dude. And these are good receivers. Not everybody, but Terry McLaurin and Debo. This isn't some scrub, wide receivers out here. And again, I understand that everything's easier. The ball's coming out quicker, so the routes are shorter, so you're kind of just able to sit on these guys. But like I said last week, you still have to step up and do it. If you're Bullard, you still got to come up and actually make the tackle. If you're Cooper, you still got to make the tackle. If you're Keyshawn, you still got to get your arm in there and punch it out, which, by the way, was I think his first. I don't even know if that counts as a pass deflection, but his first big play was actually a catch that he punched out. I suppose it would have to be a pass deflection because it was never obviously ruled a catch. But he had 2 hands on it, and if he didn't get his fist in there perfectly on that ball, it's a catch. I actually was kind of confused what even happened on that play. I'm like, how did he not catch that? And my son, who has freaking eagle eyes, is seeing everything out here making fun of me. He's like, oh, Nixon punched it out. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Looked like he just dropped it. Watch the slow-mo. Sure enough, comes in perfect, right dead center on that ball, punches it out. Keyshawn Nixon was out of control in this game. They kept testing him, and he just kept smacking him around. Absolute demon. Best game Keyshawn, I think, has had as a Packer. Not surprisingly, in the midst of all this stuff. Everybody is having their best everything. Safeties. I will forego McKinney. I don't think he did anything bad. You could almost put him in the category of I didn't really see him. But he did have a very crucial penalty, which we could call ticky-tack if you want, but he had a really bad penalty. He also had, I believe, a dropped interception. It looked to me like he had 2 hands on that ball and didn't come down with it. So for all the good that he did, I didn't see it, and the only thing I saw from McKinney wasn't great. Williams, I'm giving him a game ball. Didn't see him a ton. Saw him come downhill and blow some stuff up. Flying around, hair on fire, going nuts. You don't see him a ton, but when you see him, very similar to Bullard, he's coming up and making big plays. I'm excited about Mr. Evan Williams in year 2. I was skeptical. I was a little nervous because it felt like you never know. It wasn't like Edgerrin Cooper where it's so good. It just seems like there's no way this guy's going to fall off. Williams, we've seen guys who kind of are in that, like, he might be good kind of range. And maybe they maintain that. A lot of times they fall off. I wasn't sure. Still don't know. But feeling good about the way that's going. So, game ball. Special teams will never get a game ball. They all get kicked repeatedly. In fact, I'm going to have Daniel Whalen do it. I'll go ahead and give him a game ball, provided that he spends his time kicking everybody else. The penalties on special teams are out of control. Rich Bisaccia needs to be punched in the stomach. Just one time, not super hard, but just to kind of be like, we gotta shape this up a little bit here, bro. McManus, he did miss a 48-yarder. He redeemed himself with like a 56-yarder, I think. So I'm on the fence, but I don't know if it's game ball worthy, is all I'm saying. Good enough game. Solid, fine, adequate, decent. Love McManus, all that. You broke my heart when you missed that 48-yarder. So, but yeah, Daniel wheeling and dealing, Daniel wheeling. Okay, frickin' wheeling. Got to get whaling out of my head. I burned it into my head. I burned the wrong name into my head, and now I have to get wheeling reburned into my head and whaling. Fat, stupid, ugly whale out of here. Not his name. Fat, stupid, ugly whale. Nobody wants that. Fat whales. Can't even breathe out of the water. They're so stupid and fat. Wheels can, though. Wheels don't like water. They don't get all rusty. You got to be out of the water in a car driving 40 miles an hour in a 35 because you don't want to speed. It's against the law. Shut up. He gets a game ball. He's smacking the crap out of it. The biggest issue we have is that he outkicks the coverage all the time because our guys can't get down there. We don't have very good gunners right now. 31 Neiman showing up making plays again, but it seems like they always have that 5 to 10 yards of cushion every single time they touch it because our kickers just got a bigger leg than we have the ability to cover. The penalties are ridiculous, especially on kick return. Kick return is brutal. We don't have super dynamic returners. They don't ever seem to go anywhere. I don't know how they have gunners that essentially run untouched to our guys and there's holding. I mean, if you're going to hold, then they shouldn't get there, right? How do they get there and we get called for holding? I don't understand that situation. But yeah, I think that's it for the game balls. Let's quickly go through the basic stats. I guess we'll save some of the good ones for tomorrow. That's good, though. It'll give me more time to accumulate them. And we're going to have some fun tomorrow for sure. We'll see if PFF wants to participate in our fun day or if they want to be a buzzkill and they will be ignored for 2 weeks in a row. We shall see. All right, first of all, I won't go through all the Washington Commanders stats, but some of them are funny. Jaden Daniels was 24 of 42, 200 yards, just 4.8 yards per attempt. He did throw for 2 touchdowns, no picks. 20 yards was his longest, sacked 4 times, 85.4 passer rating, not the best outing. Jordan Love, 19 of 31, 292 yards, 9.4 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. 57 yards was his longest, was sacked twice, 113.9 passer rating. I mean, nitpick away, but this guy's off to a heck of a start. Statistically, it's going to be hard to argue that he is off to a good start. Again, Commanders running back 17, 17, and 17 yards is just wild to me. Holding Jaden Daniels to 17 yards and 2.4 yards per carry and 8 yards is his longest is a heck of an accomplishment, man. It just really, really is. Bill, who seems to be, I mean, it's hard to know. He's a rookie and he had 1 week so far, but he had a good outing. Held him to 17 yards, 4.2 carries. Eckler was the number 1 carrier. 8 carries, 17 yards, 2.1 yards per attempt. I mean, just wild. Longest carry for Eckler was 5 yards. Longest carry for Bill was 5 yards. Wild. Jordan Love, 3 carries, 12 yards, 4 yards per attempt. Josh Jacobs, 23 carries. That's a lot. 84 yards, 3.7 yards per carry, and a touchdown. It was definitely tough sledding. I think Washington committed a lot of guys into the box. They wanted to take that away. Pretty successful in doing so. Packers obviously good enough to steam up a few trick plays as well as throw a few shots over the top. Savion Williams, 2 carries, 24 yards, 12 yards per carry. 16 yards was his longest. Matthew Golden, 2 carries, 15 yards, 7.5 yards per carry. I mean, you know, again, with the whole end-around thing, it gets to be frustrating, but you look at the yards per carry. I know sometimes it doesn't really work, but even if they only get like 2 yards, that's a pretty normal run play. Not a good one, but it happens. but you also start to, it really bumps up the average for sure. I mean, it's hard to compete with 23 carries, but it will bump up the team average, as I'm sure we'll see. Zach Ertz was the only guy that got a bunch of yards, 64 of them, and a touchdown. Everybody else did very minimal, and I think Ertz was just kind of picking some stuff up down the stretch. Plus, again, ridiculous missed tackle by Quay. For the Packers, Golden, 2 targets, 0 receptions. Again, none of that was his fault. Malik Heath, reception of the day, 37-yard bomb, toe tap, beautiful. Musgrave with 2 for 2 for 32. Chris Brooks, 4 targets, 3 receptions, 27 yards. We've learned, number 1, they like Brooks. He is now apparently number 2. I don't know why. I really would prefer it be Emmanuel Wilson. Number 2, Chris Brooks, not super shifty in the open field. So there's that. Dontavian Wicks, 6 targets, 4 receptions, 44 yards. Romeo Doubs, for those of you that are new, yes, I do know how to say his name. 5 targets, 3 receptions, 28 yards, and a tutty. Tucker Kraft, player of the freaking day by a lot. Absolute beast. 7 targets, 6 receptions, 124 yards, 17.7 yards per target, 20.7 yards per reception, and a touchdown. 57 yards was his longest reception. For the defense, again, Edgerrin led the team in tackles, 10 and 7. Sacks, we already went through all that. Tackles for a loss. In addition to the sacks, you had Lucas Van Ness with a really nice tackle for a loss in there. I was hoping he would sneak in a sack just to kind of join the party, but he wasn't able to get one. But he had that beautiful tackle for a loss in the backfield. Pass deflections we already went through. McManus, we know what he did. Matthew Golden just had the 1 punt return for -2 yards. That didn't go very well. Keyshawn Nixon, 2 punt returns for 3 yards. Also not the greatest, although better than -2, I guess. Again, those punts are good distance and all that, but either there's not enough hang time or we got guys trying to get down there in wheelchairs. I'm not really sure what the disconnect is, but they're pretty much getting smoked as soon as they touch the ball. On kick return, pretty impressive. Emmanuel Wilson actually took 1 for 27 yards, which is solid. Savion Williams had 1 for 30 yards. So not quite Deebo Samuel's average after he cracked that 78-yarder, but other than that, they did really well. All right, real quick, we'll rip through the team stats and we'll get out of here. Packers did win time of possession in this game, so we don't have to hear that whining. Freaking Lions fans. We want time of possession. You had time of possession, man. Wow. 32 minutes to 27. They ran 2 more offensive plays than we did. However, we had 404 yards. They had 230. Yards per play, 6.4 compared to 3.5. Penalties, we had 10 compared to their 5. 10 is a lot. It is. You start getting up into the double digits, it's a problem. Penalty yards, we had 77 compared to their 30. No turnovers in the game at all. Completion percentage, Packers 61%, Washington 57%. Passing yards, 269 to 179. Passing yards per attempt, 8.7 compared to 4.3. Yards per completion, 14.2 compared to 7.5. Sack percentage, Jordan was sacked 6% of the time. Jaden was sacked 8.7% of the time. Packers had 30 carries, 135 yards, 4.5 yards per attempt. Again, bumps up the average, and a touchdown. The Washington Commanders, just crazy. 19 carries, just 51 yards, 2.7 yards per attempt. Isn't that what we did to Detroit? Let me go back and look at that real quick. Yeah, they had 46 total rushing yards. In 2 weeks, teams haven't reached 100 rushing yards. I mean, this is absurd. This is just... whatever, man. Whatever. I'm not going to get overexcited about stuff. I don't know things. What am I supposed to know the future? I'm supposed to know what's going to happen? I'm supposed to predict things or what? I don't know what's going on. Might be nothing. Maybe it's just nothing. These might just be bad teams. Maybe it's like... the field was slippery. They fell down. That's all. What do I know? Third down efficiency, Packers 42%, Commanders 31%. Fourth down, Packers 0 for 1, Commanders 1 for 3. Red zone, Packers 3 of 4. Commanders 100% 1 of 1. So efficiency metrics maybe not quite as good as you would hope. I mean, red zone's pretty solid, but they had us beat. The difference being they just didn't get down there very much, which again is hilarious considering their starting field position. Defense is out of control. They must be stopped. 8 passes defended compared to 3. 4 sacks compared to 2. I think that's about it. Again, I really, really would like to get through some of the more advanced stats stuff, but we're going to have to save that for tomorrow. Again, I'm over here accumulating this stuff, so if you'd like to send me some, that would be greatly appreciated. Probably will have most of it and have a bunch of people send me duplicates, but I'm fine with that. It's not. I'd rather have 7 people send me the same thing than to miss some good stuff. So that'll be a big part of what we're doing tomorrow. Some of these numbers that I'm seeing right now are out of control. Wyatt's numbers, Parsons' numbers, obviously Keyshawn that we talked about, but that's just part of it. Whew. I don't want to stop, but I got to stop. You all have a good day. It's after midnight, so I got to remember. I should just post it now. I'll just freaking post it right now. I screw around. It's a good day. It's a party. We'll send it early. You guys have a great day. How could you not? I'll talk to you tonight, tomorrow, whatever. Have a good one. Bye-bye.